And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Put your thumbs up and say it's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, Tickety Boo, everything's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, son. Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tickety Boo. I'm here and today we have another member of the Peace of Mind team with us. Anne, welcome to the podcast. First episode. And as always, we are going to be doing the card shuffle. And since it's your first episode with us, Anne, you're going to do the card shuffle. You happy to shout stop?
I can certainly do that.
Go for it, Anne.
Let's do it.
Let's see what we get.
Oh, stop. I
forgot to say stop. Okay, what's the question going to be?
Oh, what do you think is the meaning of life?
Oh,
God, let's just start with a biggie straight off the bat.
Yes.
that's not a deep subject at all, is it? Do you think we ever actually truly figure out the meaning of life, or is it just a process? Because what we make of life and take from life changes as we move through it.
Yeah, and I think as humans, we're on a continuous journey looking for the meaning of life and looking for deeper purpose. And I think particularly once we get past, like in our youth, generally we're not, but some people are. But I think as we mature and we start to figure out what's important to us and we want to have a contribution, we want to have an impact, we want to have our life mean something. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a continuous journey. I don't think we ever get there.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Anne?
I personally think it's growth. I think to just constantly be growing and learning all the time and just developing yourself, yes.
Yeah.
That journey, yeah.
I think as a guy, for me, the early to the medium part of my life was about finding acceptance and connection, which wasn't always great or the right kind of connection. I think the meaning of life for me now, in the phase of life that I'm at now, is about peace and fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's where I would say today. Now, that may change 5 years, 2 years from now, I don't know. But for me, the meaning of life right now is peace and fulfillment. And that doesn't mean, I don't want to strive and there's not going to be the occasional stress, but I don't mind doing that as long as it's fulfilling my life and I'm growing as a person. But peace is really, really important to me.
How much peace did you get at the concert last night?
Yes. So I owned a phone. I went to see The Prodigy last night and it was a bonkers experience. But actually I felt really fulfilled because it took me back to an era of my life that quite a long time ago now. But yeah, it was, peace is probably not the word I'd associate with a Prodigy gig. But it was another human experience.
Fulfilling connection. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Finding your joy, doing things that fill your energy.
Well, I'm somebody that historically has been quite bad at doing things for myself. I was quite good at doing things for others or helping others. Yeah. Like you kind of know me really well. Like yesterday, because I was going to see The Prodigy last night, I took the day off.
Wow, that's huge.
Which is a change for me because I would have worked all day, rushed home, got changed, and then belted in to see it. So you can see how my meaning of life, of how I want to lead life and run life, has changed off the back of that. And it took me years of that running around and, one thing to the next thing to the next thing with no real space in life. And I was going, I'm doing things, but I'm not able to fully enjoy them and embrace them. Mm-hmm. As you know, I was doing work yesterday because we spoke and we were sending things backwards and forwards, but it was a different kind of work, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such an important point to hit for our listeners and a great reminder for ourselves. Mm-hmm. I was just recently down in Wales packing up my dad's farm, finally getting it ready to go on the market to sell. And it was hard work. And I'm exhausted, but my gosh, that farm looks better than it's ever looked. It's really amazing. It brought back so many good, happy childhood memories. And as I've shared, quite frankly, my relationship with my father was challenging, but it was really amazing. And I felt I was doing this for a reason, and it's moving on to the next chapter, and it's letting go of what's already been. So the meaning I was finding in it was, I was doing this to help my brothers and their children, and the impact we can have from this is we release that. So it was meaningful for me being there in that moment.
Well, that's really interesting, isn't it? We're talking, the meaning of life. Sometimes we look back at stuff from our past and we can be frustrated, resentful, anxious, sorry, embarrassed. But are we actually meant to look back and go, there's meaning within that?
Absolutely.
Because there's lessons in there. And sometimes we're just at a phase in life where we're not quite ready to take the meaning, the lesson from that. So many times in my own life, I've looked back at something and been embarrassed or, not wanted to really talk about it. But as I move forwards, and I suppose emotional maturity is part of that as well, I can look and go, actually, there's gold in that moment of chaos, and there's lessons, and there's the meaning. So I'll be kind of saying, is the meaning of life like reevaluation of things?
I think it can come from that, but I think meaning of life can also come from where we're going, where our focus is, and what we're putting our energy into as well. Like, that brings us meaning too.
Yeah. So what do we say to people then that are maybe listening to this episode going, I've got no idea. I'm still trying to figure this thing out that we call life. So a lot of people, I think, feel a bit lost and don't really have direction. And
Well, within positive psychology, when we talk about meaning is not necessarily the same as purpose. So purpose is part of meaning, but meaning is generally when we reflect back and we see that our life has had meaning. So it can be much more reflective, whereas purpose is more forward focused. It's goal orientated. We're heading towards something. So I think its meaning covers both directions, and purpose is within that. And I think people can look back and see the connections they've made, the lessons they've learned, the challenges they've overcome, the impact they've had. Even if it's helping some little old lady across the road, that's meaning. You've helped somebody else. You've done good.
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that really makes sense, Iona, when you talk about the purpose within the meaning.
Yeah.
And being forward thinking, 100%. What you were saying, Andy, about looking back and your youth and taking the meaning from it, I don't think you can do that if you're not ready for it. And I think in my 20s, I probably wasn't in that place.
In that space.
None of us were.
Yeah, and then...
I think there's a point in life that certainly when you're younger, you live very much for that hour, that day, and you're not really thinking about the future. And do you know what? I think there is an age where you should be able to do that. You should be able to be a bit carefree and, not worry about those things. But there is a phase of life that we move into where we do need to start thinking a little bit differently. So for me now in my 50s, I'm kind of like, Andy, you can't mess about now. You are in the second half of your life. You need to take everything you've learnt up from this point, including the mistakes, and get it right.
Yeah.
Or get it as right as you can, because where are you going? Because time does move on very quickly. And the reason for this podcast, if I'm being honest with you, is not for us to tell you what to do in your life, is to maybe listen and you can take something and get a bit of a shortcut. Like nobody was around to give me a shortcut when I was 20 or 30. And actually, one phrase, one thought, one idea can just springboard you, can't it, into a completely different place in life.
If you're ready for it, yes.
If you're ready.
To hear it.
Yeah. So what do you think stops us from being ready? Is it we are not emotionally developed enough? Do we have a closed mindset possibly?
It could be a closed mindset as opposed to an open growth mindset. Also, we have to be ready to take self-responsibility. Well,
that's a biggie. Self-responsibility, as I call it, personal responsibility for your stuff, because, I don't want to butt in on you there, but...
Go for it.
Do you not think so many people go, it's their fault, it's the world's fault, it's the politicians' fault, it's my parents, it's my siblings, it's this. When they all stop doing that, then I can kind of be okay.
Yeah. And the transformation that comes when you just stop and start looking at your own part
Own
in
it.
it. Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not very comfortable, though, is it? Owning your stuff.
Even when I was working through all my stuff against my dad, shall we say, when I wasn't owning it, I blamed him for a lot of issues. I was angry at him from my teenage years. And then it's taken, every time I thought I'd healed and I'd worked through it and everything was good, he would trigger the bejesus out of me again.
Yeah.
And it was only in his later years that I was at a place where it was, oh, yeah, like he's just human. He's doing the best he could. And in that moment, like, and it was a very distinct moment that happened when I was visiting him in Merthyr Hospital. And it was like, oh, now there's no anger. Now, like, oh, that's what not being angry feels like. That's what full forgiveness feels like.
Yeah.
And every moment up until then was like a stepping stone to get to that. Because I remember once sharing how I'd worked through this and I'd had that sort of matrix aha moment and everything was like, hallelujah, everything's forgiven. Someone said, oh, well, how do I get there? How do I get that self-awareness? How do I get to that level of forgiveness and self-acceptance? And I was like, it took all these decades of doing the work and showing up. And even when I was in the blame and even when I was in therapy, it took building blocks of all that and working through it, because you don't just wake up self-actualized on the spot and go, hallelujah. It's a process, and it's the growth, as Anne was referring to earlier.
So you said to me that, well, what I heard, there was there was triggers.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the time we invest quite a lot of energy in trying to not trigger ourselves or avoid situations or spaces that trigger us. But we've talked on previous episodes how triggers are actually full of gold. There's information in there. There's an ability to learn and change. When you look back at those triggers now, you're able to actually go, if I was able to pause, not in the moment of being triggered, afterwards, and look inside the trigger, the lessons were there.
Oh, the lessons have always been there.
Right.
But I wasn't ready for them. And it's doing all the things, it's doing the work, it's realizing that everybody's just human and working through that process. Because as we've said before, like anger and resentment, the only person you're hurting is yourself. When you're carrying around anger and resentment and the blame, oh my God, like even when you say it, like you tense up, it's like, oh, I'm so angry, I'm gonna, knock him down. Like that's hard. And as the peace we were talking about, like about the meaning of life and finding peace and fulfillment, walking around with that chip on your shoulder, that isn't peaceful. That's not fulfilling. That's not fun.
So could we possibly say then that part of the meaning of life is curiosity?
Yes.
And that can be, being curious about a number of things, but at a stage starting to become really curious about yourself.
That's what I was, thinking, Andy, 100%. When you were saying about the triggers, and it's self-awareness, it's knowing that you're even being triggered in the first place.
Yeah.
Because we're so busy going through our days and our lives and taking care of our families and our jobs and everything.
Doing stuff.
We don't stop.
We don't stop,
to question what's actually
because I think
going
if you're, when you become curious about yourself, I know I do, I ask myself better quality questions.
Well, something I used to get my clients to do, I'm thinking one client in particular, I was working with a mum with some kids, just really busy, really overwhelmed, really in anxiety. Every time she was getting triggered, and I've done it, it's worked with everybody, perhaps our listeners would like to try it. When you feel yourself getting triggered and going to respond, just observe it and going, oh, isn't that interesting? You don't need to judge. You don't need to figure it out in the moment. But just that awareness starts to like grow that self-awareness muscle. It's like, oh, isn't that interesting? Oh, yeah, there's that thing I do when I get cut off in traffic.
What's that about?
Yeah, what's that about?
What's that about? Because we spend so much time and energy in moving away from these things because we think there's something wrong. Generally they're full of fear, so we're like, let's flee the fear. But actually, maybe part of the meaning of life is you're supposed to experience emotions. Stop attaching meaning to them.
Yeah.
We add meaning to every feeling we got. Like if you're feeling a bit anxious, part of you's like, right, there's something off. I need to go off and fix something. What is that thing? I don't quite know.
Again, that keeps you busy. If you're thinking, I need
Is
to
he
go
being
fit.
busy?
Yes,
Movement.
Yeah.
Movement.
Yeah, when what you probably need is just to sit in it.
Yeah, I think curiosity for the listeners could be a really good one. You know, if you're trying to figure this out, take it from the outside and bring it to the inside. What's going on with you? What do you experience? Get curious about that. Why am I the way that I am? What I would like to change about myself. Because weirdly, when you deal with the inside stuff, the outside bit just takes care of itself,
It really
doesn't it?
does.
It's really,
Yeah.
and it's really weird, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
It's like opportunities will come into your life. You'll meet people and the whole, you know, I think it's because your energy completely changes.
And your readiness as well.
Yeah, you're open to it.
Yes,
You're open
exactly,
to
yeah.
it.
Your mind's open.
So I think, the meaning of life, I suppose, is to be curious, open-minded, self-aware, reflective, but ultimately it comes back to what we've said is that personal responsibility, isn't it? Stop looking to pin blame on where you were born and who your siblings were or what you didn't get and all the rest of it. You've got you, and actually, if you can figure this out, you can completely change. Like, life can change pretty damn quick,
Yeah.
can't it? Really, really quick. I enjoyed that chat.
Great chat.
Sometimes when those cards get shuffled, I'm like, oh no, here we go.
And at least I did remember to say stop.
And actually, when you first asked the question, I'm like, oh God,
Yeah.
right, where are we going with this? But actually, it's turned into a really good conversation, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was worthwhile.
So, brilliant. As always, we really appreciate you listening. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple, please click that subscribe button so you get notified as we release new episodes. And if you're on YouTube, again, click that bell icon and give us a like, drop us a comment. And if you've got any questions you'd like us to answer in an episode, drop us a message and we will get onto it as soon as we can. Thanks for watching and listening.
If you or someone close to you needs to access mental health support, please contact your GP, or if it's out with normal office hours, get in touch with NHS 24 on 111. Alternatively, contact the Samaritans on 116 123. All calls are free of charge from any phone. You can also find more support information on the Tickety Boo website, ticketyboopodcast.co.uk.